Sometimes when people meet people with disabilities, they get freaked out. You've lived your whole life like that.
I was born with a rare disability called arthrogryposis, multiplex congenita. Basically means that all my muscles and limbs were affected at birth. And the further out my limbs go, the more affected they are.
What is it like to rely on another person? So many of us are independent.
It's
like
so frustrating at times.
The question of why comes up. God, why would you do this to me? How could this happen? How do you deal with that?
I just have a peace about it. I'm a normal human being. I mess up. I make mistakes. But when it all comes down to it, I just remember God's love and God's joy and peace that He has put into me. Oh, don't you want to pray to get healed? We can pray and God can heal you. And I'm like, God put me in this body, in this scenario for a reason. And I'm okay with it.
Because not everybody's at peace with their struggles and their heartache. You get up every day and you rely on other people and you're okay with it. And rather than being mad at God and just like cursing Him, you have found this friendship with God.
It's hard to explain because I just live a normal life.
Welcome to One-on-One. My name is Mark Rempel, and I have one of my very great friends, somebody I love, with me today, and you're going to love her too. Wait till you meet Alina Echemendia.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, I know you as Alina Enchilada, so that's the easiest way for me to say it, but we got it today. Oh, I'll call you Alina E.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that sounds...
I've been called Alina E my whole life.
You have?
So, yeah.
Well, now I'm calling you Alina E.
Okay.
Now, Alina, that's a Hispanic name, Latino?
Yes. My dad was born in Cuba.
What?
Well, I also have some Greek and Italian in me too, so I'm a very fiery mix.
Are you kidding me? You think you're fiery? Whoa. Which we're going to get to see probably in this interview.
Yes.
That's one thing I love about you, Alina, is you have taken life and you have shown me personally how to live it to its fullest. And that's why I love being around you. I can always find you because I know your laugh. It's loud and obnoxious, and I love it. I always know if I'm in a karaoke bar, you're probably singing because you are the karaoke queen, which we're going to get to in a moment. But what I admire most about you is just, again, you are unafraid to try whatever is in front of you and push past almost every obstacle that I could think you could push past, and you've done it. So I can't wait to hear about your life. And those that are listening, I think are going to find themselves very inspired as they listen along. But of course, I have to ask our opening question, because One-on-One is a podcast about people's stories. And we take a look at like people that we church with every week at 2911 Church. And it's just so cool to hear about people that are just living the truth every day. And that's definitely your life. So you're somebody that I've known for a long time, but more than that I think just has just an enriching story that will inspire you. But before we get to the story, since this is a podcast about stories, I love movies. So what would you say is one of your favorite movies?
I would have to say My Best Friend's Wedding.
Oh, okay.
It goes way back.
Yeah, Julia Roberts.
A lot of music, and it's very girly, and I love chick flicks.
Oh, you do? Well, I can tell by the chick outfit you got on. You are dressed to kill today in pink.
Yeah.
From, head to toe, your pink sneakers. You got pink on your wheels as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't mess around. You came dressed up. I feel underdressed, actually. Well, one thing I love about this podcast is getting the chance to hear stories. And I want the world to know your story. We have been connected for about almost 10 years. And I really got to know you one of the first nights we went out. We were out doing an outreach, and you came along. We were on Mill Avenue in Tempe, Arizona, and we were handing out pizza slices to anybody that was hungry. And you were right along with us. After we were done, we went over to Chick-fil-A and we fed ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, can you feed me some nuggets? I'm like, what? And you're like, I need you to feed me some nuggets. And I'm like, okay. And I'd never fed anybody at that point. And you taught me so much because you made it so easy. And we had so much fun. I remember I was like doing a little airplane, you know what I'm saying? And was going to give it to you or not give it to you.
Oh, yeah.
But sometimes when people meet people with disabilities, they get freaked out. You've lived your whole life like that. And I'm sure wherever you go, whether it's all across the city, you know this city like nobody else's business. You can get from one place to another almost faster than anybody can. And you use the public transit system and you just know it well. So no doubt people are always probably checking you out and wondering what's up with Alina. And I love that you make everybody feel so comfortable because you are not your disability.
Oh.
And I love that. You have just pushed past it. You're just Alina. And I'm grateful for that.
That is what we've been focusing on through Ability 360.
Yes, which is a great
Ability
place.
360 is a nonprofit organization that helps people with disabilities become independent.
Yep.
And through them, I have really grown. I have also been volunteering and connected to them 10 plus years as well.
Wow, that's so awesome.
I have seen the place grow so much.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've been over there a few times, and I just love being there. And just that place is alive with life and laughter and competition. I've been to a few sports games over there to watch a few of our friends. It is an amazing place. So we're giving them a good commercial. And again, if you're just joining us in this interview, you are already seeing the heart of who you are. What I know about you is I never know at an event. We do an event called Night to Shine every year. It's a prom we do for the special needs community. We partner with the Tim Tebow organization. And every year, I don't know, do you want to volunteer? Because there are some years where you're like, no, I want to be there to be a part. And then there are some years that you get the chance to be a guest. And that's because you love to come alongside people and you love to support them. Yeah. You don't just say, hey, I need the help. But you're always willing to give the help, which is amazing. That's just the heart of who you are. I want you to know that I'm grateful for that. And that's where your life is extremely inspirational. Now, before we get to your life, because it's got so many layers and I want people to hear a little bit of your story or a lot of it. Yeah. One thing that people may not know is I really got to know you watching you do karaoke. Now, it blew my mind. And you told me, hey, we're gonna, come down and you got to see me. If you want to hang out with me, I'm at the karaoke bar tonight. And that first time getting the chance to watch you. So I want you to know that you are the karaoke queen. What is your song? What is your karaoke? Like if there's one song that you go back to over and over, you're like, I'm going to sing that.
I have to say Hero by Mariah Carey.
Oh, okay. All right, little Mariah. So can you give me a bar of it?
There's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are.
You are fearless. That is what I love about you. And then a hero comes along
with the strength
because I don't know the words.
On. And you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive.
And you know, that song really isn't just a song you're singing. That song's about you.
Yeah.
And
Thank
I hope you
you.
know that. You are a hero to many in our community, in our church. You serve at 2911. Somebody might see you at the front door,
Yeah.
giving a smile. They might see you giving somebody an opportunity to pray with. This is who you are, and I'm grateful for it. And some people might look at you, Alina. I mean, let's talk degrees. You are a very educated
Yes.
young woman, I'll say. Tell me a little bit about your education.
Well, I did the normal elementary school, middle school, and high school. They tried to put me in special ed classes, and I went mainstream real fast.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I actually have a bachelor's degree in communications
Come on.
and a master's degree in psychology.
Master's degree?
Focus
Oh, man.
on gender.
Wow. Man, take a look at you. Very educated, as well as a hero to so many people. So people might look at your life and they might think, man, that girl, I could never do all that. But how did Alina get to be where Alina is? So the first question I want to start with is, tell us a little bit about Alina's first few years. When you were born, tell us a little bit about the condition that you were born with. What, that's the question. Maybe people are looking at you and going, I'm afraid to ask. I don't know.
Yeah.
And what I love about you is you are so unafraid to educate us, to go, this is what I've been dealing with my whole life. So tell us a little bit about Alina's beginning.
Of course, I was born with a rare disability called arthrogryposis multiplex congenita, which basically means
That's a big word, right?
Yes, but it basically means that all my muscles and limbs were affected at birth. And the further out my limbs go, the more affected they are. When I was younger, I used to walk around on my knees.
Really?
And now that I am older, I don't have that ability anymore. But it's all a physical disability. It doesn't get any worse with age, just like normal stuff, like normal arthritis or whatever. But it doesn't get any worse.
So what was that like as a child?
So okay,
I mean, it's no doubt it had to be hard, right?
Yes, as a child, I just remember that my parents would always look out for me, making sure that I'm okay. But my mom talked about how many surgeries I've had. I've had dislocated hip surgery. I've had heel cord release surgery. I've had just my mom tells me about the time that she had to change my diaper in a body cast because I was really just recovering from that whole surgery. And I've also had a couple eye surgeries. I've had ear surgeries. But mostly it's all about physical ailments. It's not about like I have all my brain.
Yeah.
So they had to bus me an hour and a half away every day.
Oh, man.
To go to school.
An hour and a half?
An hour and a half every day.
Wow.
Growing up, I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. And they they were born normal. They didn't have a disability. But my parents really raised us all to be as independent as we possibly can. And that is where I get my independence from. It's my family.
And definitely you can see it. I'm grateful they did that. That they didn't necessarily treat you differently. They just pulled the best out of you because they could see it in you.
Yeah.
And I still see that today. What was the dynamic at home? What's it like growing up with in a family where you feel like there's maybe a lot of attention on you? Did you feel that attention?
I felt the attention, but I saw it more in my sister because she felt left out. And she just always, when people were giving me attention, she was very confused about not being the one attentive to. So I saw that more than I saw the attention that I was getting. I saw her hurt in it more than I don't know.
That's a good perspective though, because you were seeing that she was hurting, and I think sometimes when the family dynamic of having somebody with a unique situation like you, it affects the entire family. So talking it out and working it through, I know is crucial.
The younger siblings were actually more willing to help out. And they were all as we grew older, they all have been there for me. They all have been helpful, and just when I need them, they're there. But yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. And I'm grateful for that for you, for sure, that you have a family that you count on and you can count on.
Yes.
Not everybody gets that opportunity.
Yeah.
And they've brought the best out of you, and I'm sure you've brought the best out of them.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, it was a little difficult because the younger kids wanted to go out and do their own thing and party, and I just remember me being like held back a little bit, but at that time I was the babysitter / one to look out for them.
I love it. You're the babysitter.
So yeah, I was the one that I let the kids get away with some stuff, and then I had to rat them out at times too. So
I hear that, and that is the plight of every babysitter sibling, right?
Yes.
You got to know what to rat on and what not. What was junior high and high school like for you?
Junior high was very junior high was okay. It was difficult because I couldn't run around with all the other kids. But then high school was even more challenging because that's when I found Christ, and that's when I found the church. And it was really, I will never forget this. There was this girl in the cafeteria that would always talk to us and be our friends, and then she invited us to come to her church, and that was actually Scottsdale Bible Church.
Okay, yeah.
Way back when. And me and my best friend accepted Christ at the same time.
That's so awesome.
And that was really, really fun. But the part that really made me grow is when my parents told me that we were moving to New Jersey.
What? So you're in Arizona at that point.
So I'm in Scottsdale.
And you're going from Scottsdale to New Jersey?
To New Jersey in the middle of my sophomore year.
Ooh.
We moved to New Jersey.
That's a tough year to move.
Yes, it was really, really difficult because I went from this huge school in Scottsdale to a very small, tiny school where everyone grew up together.
So you're kind of this outsider coming in.
Yes.
And already you're like, all right, I'm going to have to tell everybody who I am, what I've been through, because they're going to stare at me anyway.
Yes.
What was all that like, going to a new place?
That was the most devastating thing in my whole entire life, I will say. Because I went from a place that was really open and really accessible to a place where I had to go up 20 flights of stairs just to go over to a friend's house if I wanted to. And that was very inaccessible. So
yeah.
In New Jersey, all my friends came to my house to hang out. And that's kind of like when I dived down and I got really into some wild stuff.
Some wild
crazy stuff.
So you didn't find a church necessarily right away.
I tried to, but it was too cold, too rainy to go.
It was New Jersey.
Yes, it was Jersey.
At least in the winter.
Yes,
it was Jersey.
It was Jersey. So it was very hard to do anything.
What was your mobility like at this point? Like, were you using a motorized chair like you are today? How did you get around?
I was using a wheelchair. My parents had built a ramp in the garage for me to get in the house.
To get out of the cold.
I remember the first time we got to the house and there was no ramp.
Oh, man.
That was interesting. And yeah. It was really, really crazy. And then I went from a school. So in school, everyone grew up together in New Jersey. So they all went to the same high school. So the people that would really become my friends were people that were just like me, were downcast, have struggles, have issues, and they all came to me, and because of that, I learned what the different communities are. That's why I went into the degree that I went into in college, is because I saw them struggling with their identities, and I wanted to help.
Wow. Again, that's something I admire about your heart, is always wanting to reach out and help.
Yeah, so I have a really cool story actually. This one guy in my high school, he wanted to talk to me, and we ended up talking on the phone for 2 hours, the first time we ever communicated, and he was a volunteer EMT, and every time that something went on in my house, he would call me to let me know and come over to check to see if everything was okay. He had a heart of gold. He was just someone that was so easily willing to help and willing to do whatever I needed. He actually took it on himself to put me in his Jeep and we would go all over the place. At the time, my parents were afraid to let me go anywhere, and it was because they weren't with me, because they didn't know. They wanted me to go with family all the time, and John was like, I got her. I got her, and I will show her that she's gonna be okay. And he's the one that kind of opened up my eyes to say, ooh, I can start to go places. But rest in peace, John actually passed away in his sleep one day. Oh, yeah.
Wow. I bet you that was devastating for you.
So it was really hard, yeah. So ever since then, I've really connected with people who are looked down upon.
I think you get that connection as well from Jesus, because I really believe so much of his ministry was the downcast, those that society had pushed away rather than embraced. And unfortunately, that can happen in the church, where you would think, oh, everybody's going to love everybody in the kingdom of God, but we're human and we come up with ideals and we judge books by their covers, and we always don't know how to respond. And helping those individuals is so crucial to letting them know that there's a plan and a hope and a future for their lives too, right? And you do that every day. And those are the people that I know when I walk into a room, that's who you're finding. Those are the people I see you ride on the bus with. Those are the people that you invite to church, is those that have a great need. And that's so important. So you're in high school. You've moved to New Jersey. What got you back to Arizona?
After 6 years, my dad just lost his job, and we just wanted to be closer to my grandparents. His parents were getting up in age, and so we just wanted to be there for them, and we came back here, and I moved out on my own about 5 years into moving to Chandler. And
no, Alina, were your parents like scared spitless to leave you on your own? As a parent, I would be terrified.
Yes.
How did you convince them?
They always thought that I would be with them for the rest of their lives. And I actually, what had happened was the first thing that I did when I got back to Chandler was find a church. And I got really involved in Chandler Christian Church. And I was over there, and I really just started going there, and I met some great people, and I met this one girl, and she took me to the apartment complex that I moved in, that I'm living at today. And
still the one you're living at today.
Helped me move out of my parents' house. And I've been there for like 16 years now.
Long time.
And my parents never thought I would ever move out, and now they don't want me to come back.
They're like, no way. We're used to this. That's such a huge triumph to you, that you made the decision, I can make it on my own. I'm okay. One thing I want people to hear, and I say this all the time, because when I see you roll into church, I know that it has been a journey, right?
Yes.
Because I can't even get individuals that can get in a car and drive maybe 5 minutes to church on a consistent basis. But you roll in every week. I can hear you laugh. I know you're out there, or I see you serving. But getting up in the morning and your daily schedule is so much more unique than it is for most of us. What is that like? What is a day in the life of Alina? I mean, you can include the karaoke because I know that, that's the end of the day treat, but.
A day in the life of Alina is very, very, very unique and very different. I actually rely on someone to come in and get me dressed and get me breakfast and make sure that I'm all good. And then I also need assistance with bathrooming, and they do all that in one place. And then from there then I get on the bus to first of all, I have to roll a mile from mill to rural.
Wow.
And then I get on the rural bus and I take it all the way there.
And how long does that take you?
About 45 minutes.
Man.
Every time I do something with the church, I usually take the bus.
Yeah. And then church is over. And again, for lunch, sometimes somebody will grab you and go, let's go eat. I've seen that before. Sometimes you go home, but you need somebody to help you.
Yeah. I need some assistance with all the physical, normal needs that everyone needs.
Even through the heat, even through 110 degrees. I'm like, who's that pink roadster coming down the street? And it's you. And then in the evening, well, how does Alina get tucked in?
In the evening, I have someone then come back for a couple of hours, making sure that I have dinner and help me get in bed. Now, I do all the maneuvering on my own, from the bed to the wheelchair to the wheelchair to the bed. So I do all that on my own.
And how do you do that? Like, what's that like?
I shimmy my body around.
You are the queen of shimmy.
Yes.
Wow. And this is every day. I mean, this is for the most part. It's not always church. It could be work or school or whatever you're in the midst of. Meeting me at a coffee shop, which I love. But that's every day. And it just blows my mind that your willingness to get up and fight. What is it like to rely on another person? So many of us are independent.
It's like so frustrating at times. It really is.
Why?
Because they don't do it the right way, or they don't know how to do it, and then you gotta train them. I mean, I've had so many characters come in and out of my life, but I mean, some of them don't even know how to tie a shoe.
Wow. Man, we need to talk to your agency. That's number one. Can you tie a shoe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about one caregiver that you've had through the years that was absolutely phenomenal and why.
Okay. So I had this one caregiver that I met in high school, actually, in New Jersey, when I was down and out, when I was on my last, when I was just done. And he really became my friend in high school. He was an amazing person. He had so many struggles himself, but they weren't physical. They were mostly with family and relational issues. But he came into my life whenever we do get together, like, we just connect. And he listens and he understands what I need and then makes a way for it to happen. And just recently we got to spend a whole year together,
Ah,
and
it's awesome.
he really helped me change my life because at the time I had just gotten my floors redone in my apartment, so they took out all the carpet, and I was
Wow.
still going to the shower on my knees from
Oh,
my
man.
bedroom to the bathroom, and
Mm,
he was like, "No, no, 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 no. We can
mm,
figure out a way to do it so that you're sitting in the chair."
mm,
And he came up with that, and from this day on, I continued to just use some of the stuff that he has helped me with.
mm,
There was a period of time where I was having trouble with my stomach,
mm.
and I did not know why. And he goes, "Let's just switch some things up," and I became gluten free, and I've
Whoa.
been great ever since.
Oh, wow.
When I went to doctors and stuff, and they didn't know what was wrong with me, and my friend just came in and
Mm.
said, "We're gonna do a little bit of this and a little bit of that," and he totally changed my life.
That's something to be said when somebody comes along and just through the small things changes your life. Man, that's an
Yeah.
impact. That's a beautiful story of caregiving. And I'm grateful you got to have that relationship, man. So cool.
Yeah.
So you are an adult now. I mean, and you roll through the city,
Yeah.
and I know your heart for God. I've seen it. And that's again something I admire. But I think a question that sometimes probably people want to know is, how do you reconcile a relationship with God and yet struggle so much physically? And the question of why comes up. Like, God, why would you do this to me? How could this happen? And if you're not asking it, maybe somebody that you love is asking it
Yeah.
for you. How do you deal with that?
I just have a peace about it.
Hmm.
God just gave me a peace about it. And through that peace, I create joy and understanding, and I'm able to understand where they're coming from. But I don't really let it bother me.
Hmm.
I'm not, I'm a normal human being.
Yeah.
I mess up. I make
Mm.
mistakes. I've dabbled in here, dabbled in there. I've done a lot of different crazy things.
Mm.
But when it all comes down to it, I just remember God's love
Mm.
and God's joy and peace that He has put into me.
Wow.
And a lot of people have really asked me, "Oh, don't you want to pray to get healed? We can pray and God can heal you." And I'm like, God put me in this body, in this scenario for a reason. And I'm
Mm.
okay with it.
I'm just sitting across from you, and there's so much to that answer,
Yeah.
because not everybody's at peace with their struggles and their heartache. And sometimes I sit across from you at coffee, and I'm like, how does she do it? You know, I'm complaining about my stupid drink that didn't come out on time, right?
Yeah.
And you get up every day and you rely on other people, and you're okay with it. And rather than being mad at God and just like cursing him, you have found this friendship with God that I think is what is so inspiring.
And I have a peace about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's hard to explain because I just live a normal life.
Yeah.
And I don't sugarcoat stuff. I just
That's for sure.
live life.
You live life. And you know what, Alina, can be said is you live life to the fullest. You're not waiting till your life is over and people can go, oh, she lived a full life. She was great to be around. She was a great singer at karaoke. You get up every day and there's a smile, there's laughter, and you've chosen joy. And I think that's something that I can learn from, is you choose joy rather than wait for it. And I think a lot of us, we wait for it. You know, circumstances change, then I can find the joy. Man, you roll into life and it's just like there's this sense of gratitude. I'm thankful somebody got to take care of me today. I'm thankful somebody combed my hair. I'm grateful, right? Yeah. I'm grateful that my caregiver figured out a way so it's not so hard on my knees. And I'm going to go out in this big world and I'm going to sing the loudest I can. I'm going to laugh the loudest I can. And I'm going to figure out how to get from point A to point B. And if that means I'm on a bus for, freaking 2 hours, I'll be on that bus for however long till I get to the destination, because there's something at that destination that I want to experience. And we can learn a lot from that. What would you say makes you the happiest? Like what is the most, what brings Alina the most joy?
Just spending time with people that understand the real me and let me be myself.
I think that's probably the cry of all of us, is we want to be with somebody that will accept us for who we are.
Yeah.
And I think with what you have worked through as a human being, you learn that pretty fast. Yeah. Who is willing to let you be yourself and who doesn't. And that's okay. Even if somebody doesn't know, I love that you never make them feel awkward or weird. You understand,
Yeah.
Plus, you're so smart. Too smart for yourself is what I'd say.
Yeah.
What is it about 2911 that attracted you? And we've been on the journey for a while. Tell me about serving in this local body and why.
Well, honestly, you guys accept me for who I am, and you love me where I'm at, and you don't try to change me. You give me tools that can change, but you're not forcing change.
That's what we hope, because we're all kind of a hot mess, right? And I love that you have fought so hard. You use that word normal, but you have fought so hard to just be human, and that you are. And the person next to you on a Sunday could be struggling with a deep inner issue that you can identify with, because you are too. Just because there could be a label put on you for who you are physically, that's not who you are. You're just human. And that's the plight, I think, of anybody with a disability. They just want to be themselves without anybody judging them for who they are. Yeah. Super important. 2 communities that I would love to have you speak to. The first community would be the special needs community. If somebody is listening in that is a part of that community, whatever it is that they would consider to be special in their lives, or what would you say to them?
You are not alone, and your life matters.
So good and so true. Your life matters. And every moment you have, live it to the fullest.
Yeah.
And what would you say to, the community of people listening in saying, Alina, teach me something that I don't know, that I could do better, that I could maybe help somebody that I know in my life that is maybe in the special needs community, or has something that maybe the world might look at as an obstacle? What would you say to them?
just listen.
Hmm.
Because the person that you want to help will tell you how to help them in one way or another. And you just gotta be willing to do that.
You just have to be willing. And like you're willing on every side because you show up. I have really enjoyed spending time with you today. I also want our audience to know that you're a romantic. You are a romantic. What is it about love that you love?
I just love the...
You are blushing. Oh, man.
I just love the connection when it comes to getting to know one other person for who they really are.
Give us a final Alina-ism about living life to the fullest.
Just roll with it. It's gonna come whether you like it or not. Just roll with it.
Just roll with it. Have the joy as you roll, man. And you do. I want to thank you for being such an inspiration for so many people and keep doing what you're doing. If you live in the Phoenix, Tempe, East Valley area, you might see her rolling past you, pink fire, riding by, because you roll fast and furious, especially when you're in a hurry. I've seen this before. You've almost ran me over. So be careful, right? We love you very much. And thank you for being on One-to-One.
Thank you for letting me share everything.
Yep. Thank you for being honest and real and genuine. All right, let's go sing some karaoke. Dun, dun, and a hero comes along. The strength to carry on.